part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Fish fans? Welcome to your Locked On Marlins postcast on your Thursday, heading into the weekend. Dolphins' first preseason game tomorrow. My name is Jim Grieshaber. I don't know why I'm just pointing at you when I said that. What I should have said is my name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. I'm gonna slide to the left, well, not too far to the left, maybe way over here. Yeah, the Marlins. I mean, we have to entertain ourselves these days, right? Like with the little flamingo my daughter gave me for the shows here. But no, the Marlins again had an opportunity to win a game tonight. The Marlins again let victory snatch it from the jaws of, or they snatched defeat from the jaws of what could have been victory. First, Jake Berger literally narrowly missed a home run in the ninth inning. That would have erased all the woes of the day. It hit the wall for a double down the left field line. But much earlier than that, when the Marlins scored a couple times in the fourth inning to tie the game, they ran into two outs. And they made a couple of defensive plays that really cost them tonight in this game as well. We will get to it here on your Locked On Marlins postcast. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. For the first time in the second half of the season, your Miami Marlins will not and did not at least split a series. They lost a series for the first time. They got bombed in the first two games, and the Reds just absolutely whopped them. Absolutely whopped them tonight. I mean, it's the Reds are 3-3 in extra inning games now. The Marlins 8-7, but just one of those nights, man. Just one of those nights. And we'll tell you how it happened right here on the show. But first things first, Grease, have business to take care of. Thank you for making Locked On Marlins postcast your first listen every single day. We are free, available wherever you get your podcasts, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And today's another one of those days where they're testing the loyalty of you as a fan of this team. Anyway, today's episode brought to you by Game Time. That's right, Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply with Game Time. What's up, everydayers? Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Locked On Marlins postcast. I just realized I was trying to fix the collar of the shirt when I took it out of the dryer. So, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'll just do that. But it's hey, I mean, we have to entertain ourselves, like we said. But the Marlins tonight, just a tough one. I mean, 10-4, they lose this one, and the Reds just beat up on them this weekend, right? This series. They came in here, and they won game 1, 10-3, game 2, 8-2, and then this one, 10-4. So you got double digits on bookends. 2 games, you gave up 10 runs, right? 2 games, you gave up 10 runs. Ooh, that shot looks good. The light looks good, too. I like it. All right, so 2 games, you give up 10 runs on the bookends, and you have an 8-run game and a 4-run game. So what does that mean overall? Yeah, I mean, you got 32 runs in 4 games. And when you go to the season series, the first 3 games, they had 7, 10, and 2. So 19 in the first 3, 32 in the next 4. So what's that? 32, 51 runs in 7 games against Miami. 51 runs in 7 games. Burrow to chase every single game for 7. Are you kidding me? The Dolphins will be happy with that tomorrow night. None of the starters are going to play. I mean, this is just absurd. The Reds jumped out with 2 early in the top of the first inning. Kyle Tyler. Elly De La Cruz again. Right in the middle of it. This dude just killed Miami in this series. You want to hear how bad this was? The Cincinnati Reds in this series, okay? And first of all, the Reds scored 7 runs in the top of the 10th inning today. 3-3 game. Should have been won much earlier by the Marlins. I mean, bases loaded, nobody out in the 10th. Tyler Stephenson walked. TJ Friedl hit by a pitch. Spencer Steer singles in a run. Jeimer Candelerio comes on and singles in 2 more runs. And I think I might have even missed a couple after that. I mean, it just got to be absurd after a while. Where are we at? Yeah, I mean, after Candelario, yeah, Steer scored on an error, and Fairchild hit a sacrifice fly. Some defensive miscommunications, bungling things in the outfield in this game for the Marlins. It just wasn't a good night for the men in the MIA. It wasn't. It was just a bad night all the way across the board. But Elly De La Cruz, when you think about what the Reds did in this series, 30-plus runs in this 4-game series. They scored 32 runs in this 4-game series, okay? Think about this. Friedl drove in 4 Cincinnati runs tonight, okay? And they, of course, batted around in that 9th inning. Friedl drove in 4 of the Cincinnati runs, and he had driven in all 4 of their runs at one point until the wheels completely came off. He had driven in all 4 runs. But Elly De La Cruz, of the 32 runs that the Reds scored in this series, he went 3 for 4 in this game, 11 for 17 in the series, reached base 14 times in 4 games, 2 homers, 3 doubles, 5 ribbies, 6 runs scored, and only 1 stolen base, his league-leading 58th, ironically. Only 1 steal. Dude just killed you. Just absolutely killed you. In that first inning was no different, man. That first inning with the Reds. And this is what sets the tone when you have a guy like this. Nobody else has a guy like this. I mean, nobody else has a guy like this. But it's the top of the first inning. India lines out. There's 1 away. You know what I'm saying? And Kyle Tyler's looking to pitch a good game. He's keeping the ball down, whatever. De La Cruz singles to right field. Grounds 1 through. All right? What happens? Wild pitch, because you're keeping a close eye on him. You're just debating, oh my God, he's going to steal the base. You get a little nervous. You throw a wild pitch. Then a throwing error on the catcher. Why? Because there's so much pressure on him after the wild pitch with this guy on base. Then what? He's on third. He's on third before you know it. He's on third, man. And then a ground ball scores him every single time Stephenson does the honors here. And then Friedl homers to right center, 379 feet. It's 2-0 before you blink, man. It's 2-0 before you blink. And then you just can't keep coming back from this stuff. And then the Marlins scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 4th. But, man, Bride singles. Lopez walks. Bride goes to second. Stowers gets hit by a pitch. More on him in a minute. Lopez to second. Bride to third. Hill grounds into a fielder's choice. Bride scores. Stowers is out at second. Lopez goes to third. Brujan singles to right. Lopez scores. Hill goes to second. On the play before, when Hill grounded into the fielder's choice, it was Stowers out at second. But the biggest thing was Brujan thrown out at third base on Paredes' single. Johnny Paredes singles to center. Hill scores. Brujan tries to stretch it into third base, and he gets thrown out, and then Edwards strikes out swinging. So you lose the rally there by running into the second out of the inning at third base, which you never want to run into the first or the third out at third base, but to run into the second out there, to me, was just as much of a disaster for the Marlins in that situation. That was not the time to do that. That was not the time to get adventurous. And Xavier Edwards almost did it later in the game. He literally ran to third base, and he ended up being stranded there, but he almost got himself thrown out there, and that would have been inexcusable. The throw beat him. The tag didn't. Marlins just make too many mistakes like this. Way too many mistakes like this, guys. Way too many mistakes. And it's been happening all season long, over and over and over again. They ran into that out in the 4th. You know what I mean? Brujan at third, and just unbelievable. And then and Emmanuel Ramirez. I mean, with nobody out in the 10th inning and runners on second and third, Tyler Stephenson takes a strike right on the corner, and they don't give the call to Ramirez. That was a killer right there. And I should have added that Spencer Steer had 2 hits for the Reds. It was a good game for Cincinnati across the board. Good series for them. Where are we at here? Jonathan India walked and scored a couple times. Friedl drove in 4 of the Cincinnati runs. Derek Hill had 2 RBIs for the Marlins. Hill, Brujan, and Pareda RBI singles in that 4th inning. Hill 2 RBIs. Berger just missed that home run. The Reds won 5 of 7 against the Marlins this season. The Marlins bullpen had gone 4 scoreless innings prior to Emmanuel Ramirez melting down. And we're talking about that same old, Tinoco's been dope since he came over. Cronin, Nardi, Bender, Fauché, and McCann. They were all great. Cowan. But Ramirez, 5 earned runs, 7 given up, 5 earned. 7 given up, 5 earned. No outs recorded. 7 given up, 5 earned. No outs recorded. That's unbelievable, right? He gave up 7 runs. Let me fix this in the YouTube. 7 runs, 6 earned. There we go. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with these things that the Marlins put us through day in and day out. You everydayers know this, man. You are watching your Locked On Marlins postcast. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease at @JimGrease_ on social media. So pumped to have you here. Tomorrow night we'll have the Marlins show. Padres coming to town with all those former Marlins. Tanner Scott, Louis Arise, Hoeing as well. Excuse me. And then the Dolphins taking on the Falcons. We'll do the postcast for both teams tomorrow night. Locked On Dolphins, Locked On Canes. The postcast, it is going to be a big fall. Locked On Sports Miami. Right now, it's Locked On Marlins postcast. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. 7-run 10th for the Reds. What the hell happened? I'll tell you on the other side. It's Locked On Marlins postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team. And oh boy, you got to be a good fan for it to be this team. Your team every day. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. I love game time. I love going to Major League Baseball games in the summer. Football coming up. Gotta love what you can do on Game Time, the authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, by the way, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer we get to first pitch, and that is something that is very unique, obviously, to say the least, with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. So low, I have to shrink down when I say it. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets, and I'll tell you, all through life, we didn't have it. We had to get them a different way, but going to baseball stadiums, a huge part of my childhood. We are family. Hey, yeah. I went from Connecticut to see the Willie Stargell Pirates. I went to Boston. I went to New York, Mets and Yankees. I went to Baltimore for the Orioles. I went all over. I even went to Montreal to see the Expos. What you know about the Expos with Gary Carter and Andre Dawson and the Crow? Warren Cromartie with Steve Rogers on the mound. Are you kidding me? The Expos. All right. Enough about my baseball history, but I will tell you this. All these things come with the Game Time app. Last-minute deals up to 60%. Buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. Flash deals, save even more. Exclusive in-app deals on select seats right ahead of the game or the event. Zone deals, pick the zone, they pick the seats. Self-explanatory. All-in pricing. You get to see the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. You get views from your seat, panoramic in the app, the lowest price guarantee, or they will credit you 110% of the difference, and, of course, your ticket coverage, the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So do what I do. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. What time is it? Game time. We love that one. Thank you, by the way, so much for making Locked On Marlins postcast your first listen today and every day. We talk about this all the time, right? But for your second listen, stay on the network and check out the Locked On MLB podcast, right? Host Paul Sullivan, a.k.a. Sully, is here daily to provide national expertise with his trademark humor to help you get through the dog days of summer as the playoffs are right around the corner. Look at the Dodgers and the Phillies in the National League. Oh, baby, the Yankees, the Orioles, the Guardians, and the American. Never mind the wild card races. They are absolute fire. Get ready for all that, including the Fall Classic right around the corner with Sully, who has it covered every day on Locked On MLB, available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And today is the day. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. I kind of like the collar up. I don't know what you guys think, but the Flamingo likes it. We haven't named him yet, but it's Miami and flamingos. I was bummed when I moved to Miami and there were no flamingos except at the zoo because I kind of thought it was in the open of Miami Vice. Miami would be full of flamingos running around everywhere and alligators everywhere, but I never saw an alligator. I still haven't seen an alligator in South Florida anywhere I go, but I have seen the Marlins blow games in so many different ways, running into outs tonight with Brujan, Berger just missing the home run in the ninth, and then a 7-run 10th inning when the wheels just completely fly off for Miami. I mean, there's no other way to say it. And it rise, I can't deny it. I miss you. Yeah, I missed the playoff team last year, too. That was 33-11, by the way, in 1-run games. And that really helps a lot even though the Marlins, right, 8-6, 8-7 now in extra inning games, tied for the most in Major League Baseball. The Reds tied for the fewest. They're now 3-3. But in that 10th inning, I mean, a walk, like it's second and third, nobody out. You just don't get a call. It's a call, third strike. The ump misses it. Nobody out. They give him the base. Then the bases are loaded. No runs in yet. But still, remember, you're starting with a ghost man. This isn't your father's Major League Baseball. So bases loaded, nobody out. Stephenson walks. Friedl hit by a pitch. And Ramirez continues the meltdown. 7 runs, 5 earned without recording an out. His ERI balloons to over 5.5, and it should. Spencer Steers singles in a run. Candelerio singles in 2 more. A run scores on an error. Then there's a sacrifice fly. And before you know it, it's 10-3. The Marlins add a meaningless run on a Derek Hill ground out. And literally, the runner starts on second, goes to third on a ground out, scores on a ground out. It means nothing. 10-4, good buddy. The Marlins get smoked again. 32 runs in the series for the Reds. They hit 23 home runs against the Marlins this season. And Elly De La Cruz is well on his way, if he's not already there, to becoming the greatest player right now in Major League Baseball. He is knocking on the door. This kid is absolutely phenomenal. Early 20s, man, that talent, the sky is not even close to being the limit for this dude. Elon Musk says we have to colonize Mars and other planets to survive. This dude's talent's too big for this one. Put him on the first ship. Put him on the first ship and watch him go, because he is unbelievable. He is one of the best players I've ever seen. But that 7-run inning, I told you I was going to break it down. I just did. There's not a whole heck of a lot that you can say other than like every single thing could happen that did. You know, Rivera rocked, and then the bases, the blunders early in the game didn't help him any. And the first time this half, the Marlins have lost a series. They won a series against Milwaukee, a first-place team. They won a series against Baltimore, first-place team. They split with the Rays, who have murdered them lately. They split with the Braves, a playoff team. And they split with the come on out and beat the Mets, also red hot right now. But it comes to an end against Cincinnati, who hung 32 runs in 4 games. 8 runs a game. Burrow to Chase with the 2-point conversions for the Bengals. Are you kidding me? 32 runs, and it was Elly De La Cruz. 14 times on base, yo. 14 times on base for him. 14. 11 hits. He literally terrorized the Marlins all weekend. He dives all over the field. He's so fast. He gets on base, and your pitcher doesn't know what to do, like the first inning tonight. He's on first. Oh, my God. Wild pitch. Catcher rushes back. Oh, my God. He throws it away. Boom. De La Cruz is on third without having to steal a base. He has 58 steals, but that might as well be counted as one, because he ends up on third and he scores on a ground out. What a weapon. What a player. What a talent, generational talent to have leading off for your team. And meanwhile, the Marlins, I don't know if you've seen what Josh Bell's done lately. I don't know if you've seen what Arise, what Tanner Scott, what Chisholm's been doing with the Yankees. It's just, you just want to, I don't know what you want to do. I don't know what you want to do. That's your own personal business, but it's not pretty. I'll tell you that. You want to scream from the mountaintops, except there are no mountaintops in South Florida. And you don't want to go anywhere near the Everglades with the pythons and the gators and everything else in there. Bad will get to worse real quick. Real quick. Just like that 10th inning tonight. And by the way, to run yourself out of that 4th inning when it would have been 4-3 and the bullpen goes 4 scoreless and Ramirez never would have had to be the GOAT, and Berger just missed the home run in the bottom of the ninth that would have won the game. Sometimes it bees like that. Looking pitiful. Yeah, they lost again. It's a tough one. It's been a bad season all the way across the board. What am I missing here? You get the parade of former Marlins coming through this weekend. Tanner Scott, Luis Arise, and Hoying with the Pods. Yikes, man. They're coming in happy. Can you imagine how they're going to be stood? Be like peacocks walking in there. Yeah, look at me in this uniform. Oop, I forgot about this empty place. Oh, you guys, hey, what up, team? Hey, there's my teammates over there. Well, my former teammates over there. My teammates over here. We're in the race. Oh, yeah, you're not. We're in the race. We got, yeah. Oh, we'll be here just a couple days. Oh, you're stuck. Yeah, you're stuck. Not me. We're here. We're in and out, and we got the best bullpen in the majors, and we're going to catch the Dodgers and peace. That's kind of what you're going to see this weekend. That's kind of what you're going to see this weekend with the Padres coming in. And hopefully I'm wrong. But then after that, it could get really bad. I mean, it could get really bad after that. We are talking a just murderous schedule. And it's Perez and Cabrera in the opener. And Edwards been good lately. He's 2-3 with a 5.96. But he's been pretty good, right? Looking at the schedule, excuse me, allergic to the way they've been playing lately. But and it had been pretty decent. A lot of new players and whatnot. But then they go on the road after the Padres, right? You got 3 against the Padres, getting smoked by the Reds. You got Manny Machado and Tatis to deal with in that bullpen. Then Harper, Schwarber, Bohm, the Phillies. Oh, Lord. And then the Mets, too. You go to Philadelphia, then New York, and then the Diamondbacks come in with Puck and Josh Bell. And then it's the Cubs, the Rockies, maybe a little bit of a break. The Giants there, Nationals. But then it's Philly, Pittsburgh, Washington. Yeah, a lot of big series coming up for your Miami Marlins. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast. Jim Grieshaber. Call me, Grease. When we come back, I don't know what I'm going to do. Dolphins, Falcons tomorrow night. First preseason game. Tua, Tyreek Hill, Waddle, Berrios, Odell Beckham Jr., 2 running backs that run sub 4.4 40s, and none of those guys are going to play tomorrow night, so don't get your hopes up. But they will play throughout the year, and we will have a show after every Dolphins game. Locked On Dolphins postcast tomorrow night. A lot of guys taking a shot to make the team, and we will see. There's a lot of positions open. The offensive line needs work. The defensive front 7, obviously the backup quarterback. So, yeah, that's tomorrow night. Locked On Dolphins postcast, also Locked On Marlins postcast after the Padres come in here with Luis Ariz, with Tanner Scott, with Hoying, the 3 former Marlins. All right, when I come back, Locked On Marlins postcast, going to wrap it up here on your Thursday. What in the world can this team do to start getting people out? They haven't had a quality start in over a month. Edward Cabrera may have the answer to that question. I'll tell you why. On the other side, Locked On Marlins postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. And I need to talk to my skilled tradesmen and women. Paging my skilled tradesmen and women. Paging skilled tradesmen and women. I'm a skilled tradesman, but nothing like you. And I want to talk to you about the site that's made for you to get supplies for the skilled trades. That's right, supplyhouse.com. Supplyhouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and preferred vendors, and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? No problemo. Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business, and talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free TradeMaster program. Every TradeMaster gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every single order. That's right. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at SupplyHouse.com/T-M and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at SupplyHouse.com. All right. Thank you one more time for making Locked On Marlins postcast your first listen every day. Now go check out Locked On MLB podcast with Sully, who has it all covered every single day. You can find the link to Locked On MLB in the description, so you don't need to search. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease with your Locked On Marlins postcast. Look at that. Reds and Marlins late. Look at Friedl. Yeah, just a big day for him with the 4 ribbies. Ending the Marlins today, Elly De La Cruz putting a stamp on this series this weekend. What a weekend it was for him. What can the Miami Marlins do? So many newcomers, all the trades, 10 players gone. Chisholm, Bell, Puck, Ariz, Scott, Hoying, DLC, right? Who else? Brazaban, Chagua, and Trevor Rogers. I think that's all of them. All gone. All kinds of new players here. Stowers, Derek Hill, you name it, Pache, right? So many. And then Emmanuel Rivera and some of the other ones in the bullpen. So it just, Ramirez, excuse me. Just one of those nights for the Marlins. The new guys kind of blending in. They hadn't lost a series since the All-Star break. I told you, that included teams like the Mets, Brewers, Orioles, Rays, and Braves. That's impressive. But the Reds came in and just stomped on them, man. 32 runs in 4 games. Now you have the Padres coming in. Now you have the San Diego Padres coming in. You have a 5-inning game against this team. Every time out, you have got to got to score early against this team. Their starting pitching is their weakness, and they can hit. They can murder the baseball. On top of that, man, they just beat up on the Pirates on the road too, just swept them. And that team was looking at a playoff push with Paul Skeens. But Luis Arraez, of course, former Marlin, 3-run ninth inning, RBI double, gave them the lead, 7-6 win to finish off the sweep. So it just was a very closely played series, but a very good series. And the Padres won, but they have a great lineup. Obviously, they have a bunch of really good players in that lineup. Luis Arraez, best hitter in baseball since Tony Gwynn. We know this. The Marlins traded him there. Xander Bogaerts, the former Red Sox, is in that lineup, starting to hit a little bit better. Peralta is starting to go a little bit for them as well. Manny Machado's a big star. Tatis, who's not playing right now. But, man, they are, and Profar, Cronenworth, a pretty good team in San Diego. And again, with that bullpen, they shortened games to about 5 innings. And that's something you really got to watch against this team, because you have to get a quality start from Cabrera. At some point, a Marlins pitcher has to give you a quality start. It hasn't happened in over 5 weeks. That's 6 innings or more, 3 runs or less. Cabrera's gotten close, 5 1/3, 5 2/3, 3 or less. But he's been pitching better lately, the best out of any of their pitchers. So hopefully he'll be able to get something done there and give you a quality start, because that's what they need. The bullpen's been great. Ramirez fell apart today, but before he did, I mean, Tinoco, Cronin, Nardi, Bender, Fauché, these guys have been killing it game in and game out. 3 to 4 innings, scoreless. Strikeouts, barely any hits, killing it. These starters have got to step it up. And they can't be running into outs on the bases like they did tonight. Brujan, Edwards almost did it. No, you got 2 outfielders, too, literally almost colliding, letting a ball drop in the outfield. I mean, this is bad news Bears type stuff. I'm waiting for Tanner to pick up his glove and throw it at someone and kick dirt on people. I mean, literally, this is what's happening with the Miami Marlins right now. And this is inexcusable for a team with this level of talent. So they've got to pick it up. They got to start playing a little bit better. The series this weekend against San Diego, against a real good team in that race against the Dodgers. I mean, are they really in the race against the Dodgers? I think they have a shot to catch them. We'll see. We shall see as we come to the end of another show here. Let me see. I'm going to hit the scores before we bounce on. How much time do we have? Yeah, I got time to hit the scores before we bounce on out of here. What do you guys think? Yeah? Cool. It's a bureaucracy, so I say we will, and we do. Okay. Here we go. All right. The Angels beating up on the Yanks again, 9-4 in the bottom of the 9th, man. So they look like they're going to lose again. Tigers, Mariners scoreless in the second. Phillies, Diamondbacks, same. Giants beat the Nationals 9-5-10. The Brewers 16-7 over the Braves. Big game for the Brewers with 20 hits. The first place team in the Central beats up on a wild card team from the East. Padres 7, Pirates 6. Arraez the hit. Manny Machado a 2-run homer. You'll see them this weekend. Mets 9, Rockies 1. Ho-hum there. Of course, the Orioles and Blue Jays. Blue Jays beat the Orioles 7-6. And the Rays 6, the Cardinals 4. So the Orioles and the Yankees lose. And, of course, the Reds 10-4 over the Marlins. The Orioles and the Yankees lose. And that means the Guardians will keep the best record in the American League. Dodgers and Phillies off tonight, and that would be the National League overall. And that's almost a dead heat, right? The Phillies and the Dodgers. And the Padres, by the way, now 2.5 out. The Diamondbacks just 3, right on the Dodgers' butts. Got to love that. Phillies, the Mets now in second place. They've passed the Braves, 7.5 versus 8 games out. Can you believe that? Yes, you can. Meanwhile, the Cardinals 7 out. The Pirates 9 behind the Brewers. But the Phillies and the Dodgers, 68-46 and 66-49. Cleveland, 67-47. The Yankees, 68-48, and the Orioles, 68-48. The Guardians, 2 percentage points ahead of those 2 teams in the American League. Dolphins, Falcons, preseason game number 1 tomorrow night in a season that so many Miami fans hope will lead to the first deep playoff run in years. The first quarterback since Dan Marino, the first Super Bowl since Don Shula. Will it be this year for the Miami Dolphins? We will begin that quest tomorrow night with your Locked On Dolphins postcast. Of course, Locked On Dolphins every day. Don't forget that. As well as Locked On Canes. We'll have Locked On Canes postcast for you and Locked On Marlins postcast with the Padres coming in tomorrow night. That's all there is, Fish fans. There is no more Locked On Marlins postcast on your Thursday. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. Check out Sully, Locked On MLB Locked On MLB podcast with Sully. You don't want to miss that. And again, we'll be here after the Marlins and the Dolphins games tomorrow night. Marlins games over the weekend. Dolphins, Canes all year. Heat, Panthers after that. Locked On Sports Miami on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. 10-4, Reds beat the Marlins. Take 3 out of 4. First series the Marlins don't win or tie since the All-Star break. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Marlins Padres, first pitch, 7:10 p.m. The postcast right after. Keep your game tight and your mind right, Fish fan. I am out.